That's great stuff. Yeah. And so, how has by kind of discovering this very significant vulnerability within the internet at large, has it changed your life any? I mean, like, are you kind of you're sort of a celebrity within the space or something now? Or?
And I didn't set out to become a controversy. I just played with toys.
I know.
It's, you know what? Any situation you get into, there are going to be headaches. But at the end of the day, I found myself being able to be in positions where I can make the internet a safer place.
Yeah.
And that's all I've wanted.
And I think, I guess, more I was maybe driving along the lines of not people believing you, if you will, but there's more credence to the types of things that you have been kind of preaching and saying and propagating, over the years. There's no more what are you talking about, Dan? That's crazy.
Well, there are a couple things that I'm very happy about. One thing I'm very happy about is nobody says man-in-the-middle attacks are just theoretical.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really used to be, there are a whole bunch of attacks that you can only do if you are interposed between a client and a server. You have to be the middle guy, you have to be who we call Mallory. And for years and years and years, people are like, yeah, but you'd have to do like DNS cache poisoning. Well, gotcha. and this is great because so many really good bugs are now getting credibility. Moxie Marlin Spike found some great stuff against SSL. Marsh Ray found the issue with SSL renegotiation. All of these things, there are entire classes of bugs that people were poo-pooing by saying, yeah, but you'd have to be in the middle. Well, now it's very clear you can be in the middle. That might happen,
right.
And the protocol has to survive that because that's why we're encrypting, because we assume there's a bad guy. You don't get to say you're secure unless there's a bad guy.
Sure.
Like, come on.
Right.
So that's kind of cool as a side effect.
And those you've mentioned are all very recent, kind of, that they've been put out and show how to do it, and people are like, I believe.
Yeah, to the extent that it's possible, if my research can make legitimate, very cool, very smart work have an easier time in the public discussion, I think that's great.
Awesome.
I'm very happy about that. I am incredibly pleased to be able to support inter-vendor collaboration. I mean, let's be honest, security is so much bigger than any one company. And I was so proud to have all those companies come to Microsoft. Let me tell you, these aren't all people who have any love of those guys. But you know what? They came. Because it was the right thing to do, and everyone would benefit. And I want to see so much of that. I want to see companies coming together, synchronizing their operations, synchronizing their fixes, so that customers, our customers, the people who pay our way, have a clear message from the industry. Okay, there might be a problem, but here's your actions, here's your fixes, here's what you need. And that level of communication, I mean, that's what I see as the big success. You know what, I found a bug. Hey, guess what? It took a day of chatting with a buddy about content distribution networks and a couple days of poking at the protocol. It was 6 months of work to get it fixed, and I think the way the fix happened has really shown, hey, if we all work together, we're all going to benefit.
Right. And really, ultimately, right, you've really helped that far end user. Ultimately, just all of the people, all of the consumers out there that are connecting to the internet, that don't have the technical knowledge that you or I have. They're the one you might click on phishing scams or not understand the little lock in the bottom. But it's ultimately helping those people make the internet safer.
I gotta say, it was a moment of pride when my mom clicked the DNS tester and she was safe.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
How else does that happen?
Right.
So, it was actually, I should mention this. At the last minute, we're talking the last day or two, before we went public, I should put up a tester. I should put up a thing that an administrator can click on that says, your name server is safe or your name server has a problem. So I put this thing up, and I just assumed, this is a nice service to administrators. Well, what happened was, not only did the administrators click the button, the users clicked the button. They're like, hey, I want clear, oh my God, there's demand. People care.
Right.
And granted, maybe this wasn't as perfect as it could have been. It was a little inconvenient to some people, but I was very pleased to see that there were actually a lot of people who are like, I want to have a safe browsing experience. I want to have safe networking. You can't manage what you can't measure. People can measure incoming emails. People can manage incoming phone calls. You know, we gave people the tools to know there was a problem, so users had an action. We gave people the tools so that they could fix the problem. Can you imagine how awful it would have been if I had released a tester and hadn't gotten the fixes out?
Yeah.
Like, what am I? You're an admin. What are your assistant? What are you supposed to do?
Right. Yeah.
The only thing that I couldn't do, and I didn't even know this was going to be as much of a problem, but it was huge. It was like the defining pain. Administrators didn't come back to me and say, why do I have to patch? You know what they said? Man, I don't even know what name servers I'm running. Oh, wow. People don't know what's in their infrastructure.
Wow.
These things grow organically, and the only thing we have modern and skilled operations for patching are for desktops, because desktops got their butts kicked.
Yeah.
When infrastructure goes bad, our institutional knowledge for dealing with that is so tiny. But let me tell you, the vulns are there.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's very interesting stuff. Very cool. So if you want to learn more about DNS and DNSSEC and hear more from Dan and the rest of the DNS experts like Cricket and Scott with NIST and our own Nathan Meyer, please join us for the F5 Networks and Infoblocks webinar. It's next Wednesday, March 10th, 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 6 a.m. Hawaiian time. You can sign up for the webinar either on the Infoblocks website or the F5 Networks website, www.f5.com or www.infoblox.com. It's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
You've been watching F5 Networks Web Media on Demand. For Dan, I'm Peter Silva. Thanks for watching. Hey, so, where'd it go? Get out here,
Really? Okay. There you go.
All right.
Good times.
Yeah, and we're out. That was awesome.
That's freaking cool. I am so happy to hear about the product you're making. That's great. And get it immediately.
Yeah. So that was the secret sort of special sauce that we've figured out.
Excellent. Excellent. Yes, it is a piece that needs to be dealt with.